Right now at 6, Providence St. Vincent shutters its pediatric ICU.
It is inherently operationally very difficult to run a low volume unit.
Then, months after a bomb scare halted I-5.
We're like, what's going on? Is this an ICE raid? Is this federal? We had no clue.
KGW investigates the man allegedly behind it. Plus, a new collaboration to cool down Portland neighborhoods.
We have a goal of at least 15,000 new trees planted.
And what's with all the ash in the air around Mount St. Helens?
So we're getting emails and phone calls, both from pilots and from the public.
We begin tonight with a KGW investigation into the CEO of a Portland environmental tech company. Police say he turned I-5 into a crime scene back in June, slashing tires, threatening drivers, and leaving behind a homemade bomb that shut down the freeway. Investigative reporter Kyle Boshi has been looking into it, piecing it all together. Kyle, what did you find out?
You might remember this when KGW brought you the story's breaking news the night it happened back in June. The suspect, Alexander Wick, is currently in jail facing numerous charges, including serious felonies related to explosives. During a recent court hearing, his defense lawyer argued this was a protest, but police and prosecutors disagree.
911, what is the address of the emergency?
Hi, I'm driving on I-5 South. I'm by exit 302B. There's a man in the freeway throwing cones and other signs and trying to flash people's tires on the freeway.
On Saturday evening, June 14th, more than 30 people called 911, reporting a man causing mayhem in North Portland. Police say he slashed tires, threatened drivers, and planted a homemade bomb in the middle of a busy freeway. Days later, police arrested Alexander Wick, founder and CEO of an environmental tech company. So, what happened? Was this a protest or something more sinister? Using never-before-seen dashcam footage, police evidence, photos, social media posts, and court records, KGW reconstructed the incident. At 7:02 p.m., traffic came to a standstill on southbound Interstate 5 near the Failing Street pedestrian bridge. Dashcam video from a radio cab shows a man in the middle of the freeway. Police say he blocked traffic by throwing signs, cones, and homemade spike strips. At one point, the man punctured car tires with a knife and screwdriver. He claimed to have a bomb, according to police. Officers closed the freeway after discovering a 5-gallon plastic bucket on the barrier. An X-ray showed a device inside. The bomb squad determined the improvised explosive device was a soda keg filled with 4-inch aluminum nails and some bleach, a potentially destructive mix. 5 days later,
this is the Portland Police Bureau. We have a search warrant.
Heavily armed officers and federal agents surrounded a home in Northeast Portland. They arrested Alexander Wick. The 38-year-old is facing numerous charges, including serious felonies related to explosives. Investigators say they connected Wick to the improvised explosive device through receipts and store security footage, which shows he bought the 5-gallon bucket at an Ace Hardware store the day before the incident. Inside Wick's home, investigators say they found nails, bleach, and clothing matching the man who blocked traffic. Wick is the founder and CEO of Cascadia Carbon.
My name is Alex Wick. I'm a master forester, former wildland firefighter.
KGW featured the Portland-based startup in 2022. Cascadia Carbon helps people fight climate change by planting trees and selling carbon credits to cancel out pollution.
And so we're Airbnb for offsets.
Social media accounts linked to Wick and his company largely promote the business. But in December, this Instagram post explained how easy it would be to block a highway. In his Substack newsletter, Wick described being under FBI surveillance, though there's nothing to confirm that. One day before the incident on I-5, Wick encouraged people to join a national anti-Trump demonstration.
So, no King's Day is tomorrow, 6/14, Saturday.
During a court hearing in July, Wick's lawyer suggested no one was at risk.
At best, This was a misguided and highly disruptive protest activity.
But prosecutors argue the evidence is clear. Wick's behavior and a homemade bomb went far beyond protest, crossing the line into something far more dangerous. Wick was also involved in a violent incident in May. According to police, he confronted two women and punched one of them in the face because their car was idling outside of his home. No charges were filed in that case. A judge ruled he should stay behind bars while awaiting trial for the incident on I-5. No trial date has been set. His defense lawyer did not respond to our request for comment.
An interesting deep dive into that incident. Kyle Aboshi reporting. Thank you, Kyle. Well, if you have a story idea for Kyle to investigate, give him a call at the number there on your screen. That is 503-226-5041. You can also email him at callkyle@kgw.com. In your headlines, firefighters raced to put out flames that sparked in a field in Forest Grove this afternoon. It happened on Northwest Gales Creek Road near Mystic Drive around 2:30. Forest Grove Fire and Rescue says a tractor caught fire while cutting wheat, and strong east winds pushed the flames across 7 acres. The fire also burned nearby power lines, forcing PGE to cut off electricity. Thankfully, no one was hurt and no homes were damaged, but the tractor is a total loss. On the Oregon coast, a tragedy to report, with authorities there saying that someone fell into Thor's Well and drowned this afternoon. Thor's Well is a popular tourist attraction near Yachats. First responders say rough waves made an immediate rescue too dangerous. After several attempts, a rescue swimmer was able to recover the victim's body. It's not yet clear how the drowning happened, but a witness believes the person got too close to the edge of that well. The Justice Department is suing Oregon and Maine, claiming both states did not provide important voter registration information. Officials say the states refused to share electronic copies of their voter rolls or explain how they keep those lists up to date. The DOJ says that breaks federal voting laws and could shake voters' confidence in elections. It also says both states gave the same information to a private group, raising questions about why they didn't share it with the feds. In response, Oregon's Secretary of State Tobias Reed said, quote, "If the president wants to use the DOJ to go after his political opponents and undermine our elections, I look forward to seeing them in court. I stand by my oath to the people of Oregon, and I will protect their rights and privacy." A man is in custody after police say he hit a semi-truck on I-205, causing it to flip on its side across the north and southbound lanes. It happened near Powell Boulevard. You can see it here around 2:30 this morning, and it tied up traffic for several hours. Fortunately, there were no injuries. Police say 25-year-old John C. Lee was driving under the influence when he crashed into the semi. Lee was arrested for DUII, reckless driving, and criminal mischief. Matt?
All right, Christine, thank you very much. Boy, what a day around Oregon. We had record high temperatures on the coast, and here in the valleys, amazing too. Salem, look at the great colors of late summer. Still 91 degrees in Salem, but the wind has shifted. It's no longer an east wind, and that's beginning to happen all over the place. We had an east wind. It was quite strong, which is one of the reasons why we made it up to 91 in Scappoose, 90 in Vancouver, 90 Hillsborough, even 93 in Aurora, and 89 in Portland. Now, over on the coast, 89 at Astoria. That's a record for the day. I'm sure the 91 in Tillamook is the same. So yeah, it was really quite the day for late summer, right? And again, we still have some east winds, but they're beginning to weaken, 15, 16 miles an hour out of the west end of the gorge there. Still an east wind in Hillsborough, but out of the coast, the winds are starting to come on shore. And like I said, even in Salem, that's beginning to happen too. We look at the beach, it's clear, but you can see fog is beginning to form, and it's a lot cooler. It's only 66 degrees at Lincoln City. The wind is basically calm right now. So the headlines, cooler tomorrow, but still really pleasant. We're still going to be around 80. It just won't be as windy. It will be as sunny. East winds are easing now. That'll continue that process overnight. They'll die off in the gorge last, and of course. And then summer ends on a warm note, and that happens next Monday. We'll have the rest of the forecast. We'll take a deeper dive into those strong east winds of today, Christine, too. All that in a bit.
Okay, sounds good. See you soon, Matt. Developing tonight, Portland families will soon have one less option for specialized pediatric care. Providence St. Vincent is closing its pediatric intensive care unit. Our Celine Stevens is live at the hospital in Southwest Portland with what this means for families. Celine.
Christine, so Providence St. Vincent said this was a difficult decision, but with that unit being empty for over 150 days last year, they said it just wasn't sustainable.
It is inherently operationally very difficult to run a low volume unit.
The Pediatric Intensive Care Unit at Providence St. Vincent will be shutting down permanently the first week of November. The hospital citing consistent low patient numbers.
Last year, our Pediatric Intensive Care Unit was empty for 155 days. And on days when it wasn't empty, typically we had one patient in the intensive care unit.
Now, families in need of that level of care will need to look elsewhere, like Legacy and OHSU.
There is a certain infrastructure that you need, even when there are 0 patients or 1 patient, that is expensive. So it's, the finances certainly make it more challenging, but even beyond that, there are inherent challenges with running a unit with very few patients in it.
In total, in 2024, Providence says the PICU saw 122 patients for the entire year. But nurses who work in that unit say there's reasons for that, with one being staffing.
It wasn't always that there wasn't a patient. It was we were constantly short nurses. There was multiple times we were short staffed and we were advocating to keep more staff on.
Erin Piltz, an RN who's worked at the hospital for years and is a part of the Oregon Nurses Association, is concerned about the timing, just weeks before respiratory virus season.
I feel bad for the community, and it is going to be felt within the community that there is going to be there's already a shortage of nurses in the other pediatric ICUs in the state, and now they're going to feel that even more.
Providence says it has a plan, and this is the best decision.
In advance of this announcement, I had a chance to connect with senior leaders at both Dornbecker OHSU and at Randall Legacy to let them know about our plans. I did that in August. Everyone in healthcare now is being really thoughtful about where they where they spend the limited resources that they have, and we're no different in that way.
Now, this does not impact the NICU or other pediatric forms of care at the hospital. Again, this official closure will come in that first week of November. Christine?
Appreciate the information. Celine Stevens reporting for us. Thank you, Celine.